I want to talk about something that I usually don't talk about on the channel, and that's why I moved to Thailand, why I decided to make Thailand my retirement home instead of in the United States. Because maybe you guys are in the same boat that I was, and talking about my life will help you with the decisions that you might be making. Sawadee Kap, Sabai Mai Kap, and welcome to Chiang Mai, Thailand. Hey, I did a video a couple weeks ago and I talked about why expats or long-term residents leave Thailand, why they give up their dreams, what they planned to be a life in Thailand, and something didn't work out, so they gave up and returned home or moved to another country. Because I think if you know what those things are, you can watch out for those things and not make the same mistakes and hopefully have a great long life in Thailand. So I wanted to talk about kind of the flip side of that decision. I want to talk about why I left the United States and decided to move to Thailand. There's 5 specific reasons. I've kind of narrowed it down to, and I want to talk about what they are. But the key things isn't really to identify what the 5 things are, because I've seen other videos and people talk about why they moved to Thailand. But here's the thing that they never seem to do, is they never talk about, did they find the things in Thailand that they were looking for? Or did they just find a whole new set of problems that they didn't anticipate? So I want to tell you as bluntly as I can exactly what those 5 things are and if I found what I was looking for in Thailand. Okay, I'm going to list these 5 things that are basically in order of importance for me in making my decision. And number 1 is, I bet, something you've never heard anybody else talk about, because it supersedes everything like cost of living and all those other kind of factors. For me, reason number 1 by far was wanting a sense of adventure in my life. Plain and simple, I was bored with my existing life. I don't know about you, but you get into your 50s, your 60s, maybe your 70s, and you kind of look at your life and you say, damn, for the last 10 or 20 or 30 years, is anything different? It's been kind of the same thing day after day, and most days sitting in front of the TV with your life kind of rotting away. And I don't know, there just comes a point where you say, is this all there is?
Please, I want to live again.
Is this going to be the rest of my life, except for maybe 2 weeks of vacation? Then you come back and start it all over again. So I've always been the kind of person that I would rather make a mistake in life by trying something and failing and being happy that at least I tried. I don't want to be one of those people that is just rotting away as I get older and think like, I wonder what it would have been like. What would my life have been like if I'd done that? We can survive failure, but can we be happy with never trying things? For me, I couldn't. So I think in a way being an expat, giving up your home, moving to another country, another culture, another language, different food, different lifestyle, different religion. Everything is different. And in many ways, it's probably, I don't want to sound overly dramatic, but it's really one of the greatest adventures of your life. And it's one that I wanted to take. Okay, so what's the resolution on that one? Did I find the satisfaction, the excitement, the adventure that I wanted? Yes, I did, and I do. I continue to. Everybody's going to be different, and what makes it successful for me might be the opposite for you, to be quite honest, because I'm the kind of guy that's easily bored. I like a challenge. I don't really want things super easy. If you want a super easy life, you should probably stay at home. Living in Thailand is a challenge. You're constantly having to deal with language issues. You really should learn the Thai language. You actually don't have to. You can get by in Thailand unless you're in a remote village. You're going to find people that speak English, and you can walk around with your Google Translate on your phone. But you'll have a much better life experience if you actually learn Thai. Even at a basic level, people will really appreciate it. But living in a foreign country, especially in Thailand, where The culture is completely different, maybe driving on the opposite side of the road that you're used to. I mean, it's different in so many ways, but I love that challenge. It makes every day interesting for me. And everyday activities, just going to restaurants and choosing new food. I mean, even after 8 years of going to Thailand or living in Thailand, I still enjoy finding new Thai dishes or new ways that the same dishes are prepared. I like the challenge of driving on the wrong side of the road. Not always, I don't always like it. I suppose I'm going to talk about that more in a minute when we talk about some things that maybe I don't like. But I've really been happy with it. I actually like the way that Thai people interact with us as Westerners. Some people will tell you, and I get a lot of comments in the videos, and they say like the bad thing for people that don't like it is you're always going to be a farang. But for me, I've always found that if you treat Thai people with respect, you're going to get that back. And actually, as a Westerner, you're going to get more respect just by being a Westerner. They seem to think in Thailand that you have more education, more sophistication, more world knowledge. So you're kind of inner Thailand almost on a higher social status than you'd have at home. So that's kind of an enjoyable thing. So I found being in Thailand extremely pleasurable. I love the adventure. So that's a big thumbs up for me. So I don't know exactly how to title this next one. Women, dating, love, romance, whatever. But that's my number 2 reason. And it was a big one for me. And I was divorced 8 years ago. And if you've been through a divorce, you know that emotionally and financially, I mean, it's kind of a nightmare for both sides. I mean, it's never just one person's fault. It takes 2 for a marriage to fail. But whatever the reason, it's hard to come out of that. And for 5 years, I wasn't interested in dating. I was just happy to be alone and not have any drama in my life or anything. But when I got ready to start dating again, one thing I realized, and I don't know when it happened or exactly why, but I suddenly began to find Asian women incredibly attractive more than Caucasian women. And I don't mean to insult the many beautiful Caucasian women out there. Don't post a mean comment about that, please. But maybe that's not an unusual thing. I mean, there's many, many Asian women that are quite clear that they find Western men more desirable. So maybe opposites attract, I don't know what, but that was part of it. Another part of it is that, and again, please, I don't want to insult anybody, but there seems to be kind of a mindset among a big chunk of American women that they look to their spouse, their husband, to make them happy. And what I mean by that is that obviously the job of husband and wife is you want to make your spouse happy and have a great life, but it's up to each person to basically find their own happiness. Your spouse just contributes to it. It's not the job of your spouse to make you happy. And I think a lot of American women look to their partners basically saying, make me happy. And it's not just me saying that. There's a very popular Filipina vlogger, and she did a video about her first trip to America, and I really enjoyed watching it. And she talked about talking to many, many American women, and she said basically her conclusion was, despite so many opportunities, much more than people have in other countries, that American women just don't seem to be happy with their lives, and they quite often can't put their finger on why. So that's not an issue that I think you deal with so much in Thailand. In a way, and this might sound kind of weird to say, but Thailand kind of reminds me of America when I was growing up. I was born late in 1956, so as a kid in the 50s and the 60s, my mom was a stay-at-home mom. My dad worked. There were kind of defined roles. And again, don't get me wrong, women should have completely equal rights and equal pay in the workplace. For women that want to be home, that's an important job, more important probably than the other spouse going out and working. But that seems to be kind of a difficult role in America, maybe because of the economics make it impossible. So both husband and wife have to work. And then that leaves the home jobs creating conflict and things like that. But in Thailand, it's kind of old-fashioned. A woman kind of has a traditional woman's role, and a husband has kind of the traditional husband's role. And again, please don't make me out to be some kind of misogynist or something. It's great when people don't want those roles. They should have the right to do that. But if people do want those roles, and they're happy in those roles, then, I mean, that's ideal for everybody. And I think Thai women also make really loving partners. Not that Western women can't do that and don't do that, but there's a sense of family in Thailand, especially among Thai women. Family is incredibly important in Thailand. In the United States, you know, kids grow up and we stay in contact, but they kind of just, you know, go their own way. And you get together on Christmas and Easter, I mean, unless you live right next door to each other. But in Thailand, not only do families quite often live together in the same house, they see each other all the time. And it's really a different sense of devotion to spouse and children that I see in the United States. So that was one of my reasons in seeking a Thai partner as opposed to a Western one. So did I find success in that area? Well, if you have watched my channel, you know that I did, because my frequent YouTubing partner is my girlfriend, Joy there. And we've been together for a couple of years now. And so far it's been blissful. I think it will probably continue. We met on one of the major Thai dating sites, the Thai Cupid or Thai Friendly, one of those two. And by the way, Joy and I are going to do a couple videos, maybe in the next month or two, and talk about Thai dating in terms of, you know, how to meet a good Thai partner and how to create a good relationship and things to watch out for. And I promise you it's going to be really informative to hear a Thai woman, especially a Thai woman who is dating a Westerner, you know, kind of what her expectations are and what a Thai woman is looking for and what's kind of a turnoff to her. So, so subscribe to the channel so you'll get an alert when those things come. But anyway, back to the relationship. One thing I've noticed with a relationship with Joy and having other friends that are Thai, I would say that kind of the reputation of Thai women as being very, very dedicated, loving, loyal partners, I find to be completely true. Probably a higher level of jealousy than a Western woman, which in a way is kind of charming. But the one thing I'll tell you that, again, for me is not a negative. In a way, it's a positive, but for some guys it may not be. When you find a Thai woman in that category of family-centered, you're number one for her that you might be looking for, like I was, well, she's got the same expectation of you, and she really wants that dedication and that loyalty from you. And if you don't give it, that's going to be a major problem in your relationship. Oh, and I almost forgot something in the department of romance. As a guy, I always talk about a guy's point of view meeting a woman. And I had several people post on my last video, women saying, what about a Western woman meeting a Thai guy? And also people saying, hey, what about a Western guy meeting a Thai guy? So both those things are obviously occurring. As far as Western men meeting Thai men, it's probably actually easier in Thailand as a Westerner. One reason is Western men tend to be seen as more attractive for the reasons I mentioned before. So that helps if that's what you're looking for. And there's also more Thai men in the LGBTQ category than in most Western countries. And as far as Western women meeting Thai men, well, again, we all seem to find, you know, that opposites attract. So Thai men are clearly interested in Western women. I don't see it happen as much in the older age groups, to be honest, but in the younger age group, it's very, very common. Okay, the next one is safety and crime. Just kind of, do you feel safe in your day-to-day life? I'm from Southern California, and in California, we have over 2,200 murders a year. That's 7 a day. You can't turn on the news and not hear about numerous crimes, rapes, you know, home invasion, brutal murders. Everyone around the world sees the frequent mass shootings that occur, it seems, on a regular basis. anonymous people, children, people in church that are killed for no reason except somebody's angry at the world. Even in my little town that I live in, I mean, it's got a population of like 30,000 people. We had 2 murders last year. It's really disconcerting. It makes me actually not want to read the newspaper in the morning because I get depressed. I have to go straight to the sports page. Well, it's not really a newspaper, it's on the computer, but you know what I mean. And it's not just crime per se, it's just the feeling you get just walking around, going to the grocery store, or to the mall, or whatever it might be. It seems like America is overloaded with punks. I don't know how else to say it. I mean, and not because you've got tats all over your face and your neck and piercings all over. That doesn't make you a bad person. I'm sure there's many, many nice people, but there's also a lot of people that kind of you want to avoid. And you just seem to see them all over that are just kind of hostile. They're just looking for a conflict with somebody, and it makes you feel kind of uneasy. So those were one of the things that kind of made me feel uncomfortable in my day-to-day life in California. All right, so what about in Thailand? How does safety and crime compare with Thailand? Well, on the one hand, I feel much better about things, and in another way I don't. So let me tell you about the first one. As far as pure crime goes, statistics show that there's 20 times more violent crime in the United States than in Thailand. I mean, that's a pretty scary statistic. And beyond statistics, I can tell you just walking around Thailand, and I live in Chiang Mai, which is the second biggest city in Thailand, and I've been to Bangkok numerous times. Even there, as a giant metropolis, I never feel worried. Now, maybe if I went to the red light district and I'm walking around at 2 in the morning by myself, I don't know, maybe then I would, but I don't do that. But walking around anywhere in town, even like in Chiang Mai, I go to a jazz club in the old city, and maybe I'm walking through the old town afterwards by myself at midnight. I never ever, I mean seriously, I never feel uncomfortable. I never bump into obnoxious, threatening type people. The only people that come close are drunk Westerners, actually, not Thai people. But there's a flip side. The one thing that I don't feel safer, and in fact I feel less safe, is on the roads. You've got to be prepared if you come to Thailand that the roads are really dangerous. I mean, there's no way around it. I mean, they are deadly roads, especially if you're on a motorcycle. Thai motorists are, I'll tell you, I don't get this, because Thai people are the warmest, kindest people, I mean, seriously, I've ever met. I mean, they truly are sweet and kind people. But you put those same people behind the wheel of a car and something changes. I mean, if you're trying to cross a street, I mean, they'll barely not stop for you. They'll swerve around you quite often. The motorcycles are just zooming all over in between cars. It's just mass chaos. So that's one area where, number one, I mean, you got to be really skilled before you get on a motorcycle when you go to Thailand. Don't arrive day one, rent a motorcycle. That's crazy. But even after you've been there a long time, you've really got to be careful and use good judgments on the road. All right, the next one to talk about is the cost of living, but I want to talk about it in a little bit different light than people typically do. To me, it's really lifestyle, but let's talk about some quick numbers. And I'm not going to go into great detail because I already did a couple videos with Joy. There's actually a 2-part series. In one of them, we talk about the cost of living for apartments, and we take you to like 10 different restaurants with us so you can actually see the food and see the prices and see the ambiance. And the second one in the series talks about things like insurance costs, visa costs, and things like that. So I'm just going to do kind of a short recap right here. But in Thailand, with the exception of central Bangkok, you can rent a very nice studio apartment for about 10,000 baht, 12,000 baht. You can rent a decent one for half that. And when I say a nice one, I'm talking about air conditioning in a nice unit with a pool and a gym and things like that. If you want a 1-bedroom in like a really luxury building, then you're looking at maybe 20,000 baht. If you want to rent a house, they actually don't cost more than an apartment does. The difference is apartments tend to be central, so you can walk right outside your door and find restaurants and things like that. You don't need a car as much or a motorcycle. But if you're going to rent a house, you're going to be outside of town, so you definitely need transportation. Now, if you're in central Bangkok, you might pay double what I'm talking about. But outside of central Bangkok, prices for rents are pretty similar to the rest of Thailand. Prime beach territory, that's going to be a little bit more expensive as well. And restaurant prices are all over the place. If you want to eat genuine Thai food at the kind of restaurants that Thai goes to, not in the tourist areas, you can find great restaurants for like 50 to 75 baht. And those are nice, good Thai meals. Basic, but good meals. If you want Western food or a really nice Thai restaurant, then you're going to be paying, 2, 3, even 4 times that amount. But still much cheaper than it would be in the West. And as far as getting around, if you don't have your own transportation, they've got Grab and Bolt are the 2 main ones. And they cost probably about a quarter of what the same distance would cost you comparing it to the United States. So did I find a cheaper cost of living? Well, you know that I did. But I want to talk about it in terms of lifestyle instead of really talking about numbers. When I was living in Southern California, in fact, I still have my house there, so I'm still paying these bills. But for a Southern California house, my mortgage is, with property taxes, about $3,300 a month. My gardener is $250 a month. My water bill is about $250 a month. My electricity and my propane combined total about, maybe $200 a month. That's a lot of money every month just to survive. That's not even anything like food or anything else. Compare that to Thailand, where actually I live for free because Joy owns her own house. But sometimes we rented apartments in the city, and typically they're about like 12,000 baht. But here's the point I want to get to. The beauty of having such a low budget is the effect it has on your peace of mind and your lifestyle. Because in the United States, even though I'm blessed to have a fairly good income, I still have to kind of think about how much money I'm spending. Because in California, if I want to go out to lunch and pay for myself and a date, lunch and drinks and tax and a tip of 15 or 20%, it's going to be $40 just for a normal lunch. So you've really got to think, can I afford, can I go out to lunch today? Can I go out to dinner? You just don't do it every day. But in Thailand, you don't even have to think about it. Most people go out to eat every day for lunch or dinner or sometimes both because it's so inexpensive. When Joy and I go out, if we go to our favorite khao soi restaurant or our favorite pad Thai restaurant, for 140 baht, less actually, 130 baht. It's almost like nothing. You don't even have to think about it. And same thing with taking transportation. So you just have so much disposable income that you can focus on just having a fun life, and you never really need to think about counting your pennies. And in California, I don't even think about getting a massage. They cost about 120 to 150 for a 90-minute massage, and you add on a tip. You got to think about, do you want to spend that kind of money? But in Thailand, my favorite place close to my house is 350 baht plus tip. So I can literally get a few massages a week and not even really think about how much it's costing me. To me, that's a high quality lifestyle. One big thumbs down for me, which can increase your living costs and decrease your pleasure in life, is the Thai burning season or the smoky season. That's typically February, March, and April, where in northern Thailand, they start burning their crops also in countries to the north, and it really makes the air quality quite bad. Some people stay and get air purifiers. Our solution, if we can, to be quite honest, is just leave. It's kind of our forced vacation time. We go to one of the Thai islands, a surrounding city, maybe even return to the United States. But it is something you have to factor in your living costs if you live in northern Thailand. All right, the last one I want to talk about is kind of a combination of politics, religion, and just social mindset. I'm actually personally fed up with America. Don't get me wrong. I love my country. I always will, even if I choose not to spend most of my time there anymore. But politics, let's start there. I'm not going to take a side on the pro-Trumpers, the anti-Trumpers. All I know is the whole thing sickens me. I'm just tired of it. I mean, we truly are a nation divided. It used to be, not that long ago, where we can have so-called liberals and conservatives, Republican, Democrats, whatever you want to label them as. We could disagree, but we all got along. And we all kind of compromised, and we were okay with that compromise. But not anymore. I mean, now it's actually enemy camps. And it's scary to see some of these people so extreme. Some of these people, to me, these people in Congress, I mean, I watch them on TV. They're not qualified to be on a school board, much less in the United States Congress. So part of it is politics. Another part of it is related to religion, and politics are becoming more and more the same with liberalism and conservatism. But as an example, I mean, all the energy that people put into fighting same-sex marriage, just as an example, who gives a damn? I mean, if people are of a same-sex persuasion and they want to be married and they love each other, why would we want to stop them? I mean, so even if you disagree with it on some moral grounds, you're entitled to your opinion. But I mean, should we be marching on the street about issues like that? Should we be saying mean things about people because of their choice in that department? So that kind of drives me nuts. And don't get me started on this book banning thing that's going on in some states. I mean, can you believe that The Giving Tree and Charlotte's Web are banned in some communities? It's just simply outrageous. The other one is just kind of like mindset of people. There seems to be this mindset in the United States where people almost look for an excuse to be offended. Do you know what I mean? I mean, you can say something innocently that just tweaks them, and they're going to go off on you. Driving down the street, if someone does something a little bit wrong or they've offended you, I mean, you get the finger, I mean, and they cut you off. It's just this underlying feeling of hostility that I just don't get. I don't understand it, and I don't like it. Okay, so what about Thailand? Let me go through them one by one. Politics are just as bad in Thailand as they are in the United States. In fact, in some ways, maybe worse. I think maybe every country nowadays has self-serving politicians and big money getting what they want, and the little guy doesn't really get his voice. So there's no difference there. The difference, though, is that in Thailand, for one thing, to be quite honest, although it's my adopted country, it's not my home country. So in an odd way, it doesn't offend me as much. I mean, I actually find myself being ashamed of the way America is portraying themselves sometimes. But with Thailand, I mean, I don't have that kind of investment, so it doesn't bother me. But the other reason why maybe that the politics don't really bother me in Thailand is because it doesn't really seem to affect the people. There's just not this hatred, there's not this animosity between different parties. They've got something like 12 or 13 different political parties in Thailand, and they don't hate each other. I mean, they all seem to respectfully disagree with each other. And with religion, there's no controversy at all. I mean, Thailand is a Buddhist country, but they just accept everybody. I mean, they really don't have judgment. I mean, they've got so many religions that exist peacefully in Thailand. I've never seen any kind of religious disparity addressed from one group towards another. And that extends to other issues like, same-sex couples and ladyboys and just, I mean, all those kinds of issues where, I mean, take ladyboys as an example. I mean, in the United States, I mean, people kind of snicker over things like that. In Thailand, it's just an accepted third group. I mean, there's no issue. That's just who they are. They're a regular member of society. So it's just like everyone is accepted for who they are, and why shouldn't they be? I mean, that's the way that things should be. And the last one, I'll call it just the social mindset of the country. There's no feeling that I see of this underlying anger, this kind of just bubbling under the surface. To the contrary, I find Thai people very friendly, very forgiving. You know, I talked before about the anarchy that exists on the roads that drives those of us from the West crazy. But you basically never hear anybody honk at each other. I've never seen anybody, you know, raise a fist or a finger at someone else. It just doesn't happen there. People just happily coexist. And if you're different from somebody else, if you're LGBTQ, if you're a ladyboy, whatever it might be, I mean, nobody blinks an eye. And why should they? I mean, they're just people with different choices. And everyone happily coexists, and it really makes your life so much more peaceful. So in that department, that was a big thumbs up in comparison to America. All right, guys, so that sums up my 5 reasons of why I left the United States, and did I find satisfaction in those things in Thailand. I bet you guys have a lot of stories to tell, either agreeing with me or disagreeing. And you know, luckily, people leave a lot of comments on my videos. And by the way, you know, I respond, or Joy responds to every single one of them. So if you post, you'll hear back from us. So please, if you've got some insight on this, I would really love to hear it. And if you've got any stories that would help other people that are either living in Thailand or thinking about moving to Thailand, please share it. So I hope you give this video a like. I hope that you enjoyed it, and you're going to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you hear about new videos. Joy and I always have a lot of new stuff coming up, and we'd love for you to join us on a regular basis. So until I see you guys again, Sawadee Kap, Kap Kun Kap.
When we wake, hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side our fears are done. Oh, the good times just begun. Oh, we know what we have, let's hold on tight. Found what we're looking for in life. Call us crazy, but things are finally right. With you and I, the future is bright.